Hey, beautiful souls. Let's talk about fear. We all know it. That feeling that grips your chest, quickens your pulse, and makes your mind race with what ifs. Fear is a universal emotion, and yet it's one we often try to avoid at all costs. But what if I told you that fear isn't your enemy? What if instead of running from it, you learned how to use it to propel you forward? Here's the thing about fear. It's not always bad. At its core, fear is a survival mechanism. It's your mind's way of keeping you safe. But in today's world, where we're not running from predators, fear can show up in ways that hold us back. Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. These fears don't just protect us. They can also paralyze us. The first step to turning your fear into fuel is understanding it. Fear often stems from uncertainty. Your mind fills in the gaps with worst-case scenarios because it wants to prepare you. But here's the truth. Most of those scenarios never happen. Recognizing this can help you see fear for what it really is, a story your mind is telling you, not an unchangeable reality. Next, ask yourself, what is my fear trying to teach me? Fear often points to the things we care about most. Afraid of failing at a new project? That's because success matters to you. Nervous about a big presentation? That's because you value doing well. When you reframe fear as a signal of what's important, it becomes less of a barrier and more of a guide. Now, let's talk about action. Fear thrives on inaction. The longer you avoid what scares you, the bigger it grows. But the moment you take even a small step toward what you fear, its power starts to diminish. Think of fear as a shadow. It looks intimidating from a distance. But when you move toward it, you realize it's not as big as it seemed. It's also helpful to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing fear as something to eliminate, view it as energy you can harness. Fear triggers adrenaline, which can sharpen your focus and heighten your senses. Use that energy to push through challenges, not retreat from them. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. Every time you face a fear, no matter how small, you're building resilience and confidence. You're proving to yourself that fear doesn't have to control you. Lastly, be kind to yourself. Growth often involves stepping into discomfort, and that's okay. You're not failing because you feel scared, you're human. What matters is what you do with that fear. So today, I challenge you to take one small step towards something you've been avoiding. Face that fear, even if it's just a tiny bit, and remind yourself, fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signpost pointing toward growth. Thank you for joining me today. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who might need the reminder that fear can be their greatest ally. And as always, remember you're stronger than you think.